Now, applying to a bachelor's program at a university abroad is a holistic process. It involves, writing essays, letters of recommendations, involves presenting your transcripts, and amongst the many things that the application entails is a standardized test score, right? And in the case of US and other, most other universities abroad, they look at the SAT score. There are two kinds of scenarios. One where SAT is either optional or required, in which case you should worry about the SAT, and the other case, the university you're applying to does not have, does not require the SAT. And if it says does not require, then you don't need to be bothered about the changes in the SAT, which is what this video is going to be all about. In this video, I'm going to talk about what are the changes in the new version, in the digital avatar of the SAT, going live in March 2023, and what the implications are for a student who's looking to take the SAT exam. My name is Anand Venkatesh. I'm the founder and mentor of this platform called mentorscapital.com, and all of the information that I present and I concise in these videos comes from our vast network of mentors spread pretty much across the globe. All right, so let's get this video started. I'm going to talk about the SAT, whether whether it's optional or required. It is still something that you should worry about. It is still something that can make your application stronger, and that's pretty much what an applicant looks for, to present a strong application, a strong case for selection into the program offered by your dream university. So the first thing that you need to worry about is, what are the broad changes? Well, the digital SAT clearly means that one major change is in the format of the exam. It's gone from being a pen and paper test to now being a computer-based test, which you will take online, right? What you need to know is that this is a recent change from March 2023 onwards. All versions of the exam taken, at least for international students, are going to be the digital versions. There are still some options for you to take the pen and paper format, but it's not going to be open to international students. It's only going to be for people who are based in the US, who can take, in limited number of options available for them to take it in the pen and paper format, right? Another change, the SAT earlier used to have 4 sections. You had two sections in math and 2 sections in English, but that has now been compressed into just 2 sections. The essay remains an optional, section, which means even otherwise, in the pen and paper version, you could take the SAT with or without the essay, and that sort of continues into the new pattern as well, right? So those are the major changes, but what are the implications, right? What does it mean for you as a student? So let me try and break that down for you. Number one is the format itself, right? It's going to be in the digital format, which means you're going to be attempting math and reading passages in English, whether it's reading or writing. You're going to be attempting all of this in a digital format, which is kind of uncomfortable if you're not already used to it, right? So one is the format itself is a little hard. It needs a little bit of time for you to adjust, right? Whereas the earlier pattern was pen and paper. It's something that we're used to at school, used to reading and answering on paper. So, well, that's one change, significant enough. The second change is in terms of time, right? Earlier, the paper used to be 3 hours plus extra time for the essay. Now, the new pattern, the test is about 2 hours and 14 minutes in duration, plus any time that you need for the essay, right? So the test is shorter. And more importantly, the number of questions is also reduced, right? So where earlier there used to be 154 questions, plenty to answer, plenty to sort of bother with solving and deducing. Now, in just over 2 hours, you need to answer about 98 questions, right? It's about 50 odd questions fewer than before, and that takes just under an hour less than before. So net, what it translates into for you as a student is that the test in the new avatar gives me a little more time on a per question basis, right? It's not very significant. It's not huge, but it's still, it's still noteworthy that as compared to before, now a student will have a little more time on each question, maybe a few more seconds, right? Well, if you add up a few seconds for each question, it can make up, a quite a significant amount of time that you will get. So as far as I'm concerned, it's an advantage. Number three, what about the difficulty level? Well, honestly speaking, the SAT hasn't intended to make this test easier or harder. I think it's more, trying to sort of scale it as compared to a student's ability, right? So what that means for you as a student is that the test in the new digital avatar is adaptive, something that cannot be done on a pen and paper version is to make it adaptive. Now, what does that mean? Well, an adaptive test adjusts to your abilities, which means that if on a particular topic, if you're not doing well, if you're getting more questions wrong, then the test can adjust and say, hey, maybe I need to ask him easier questions, him or her, gender agnostic, easier questions. So an adaptive test basically adjusts to your level and presents questions that are of commensurate difficulty, right? And that's what the new avatar is going to be. It is a multi-stage test, which means there are two modules in each section, math as well as reading and writing. And in each section, the first module is going to test your level out, and the second module will adjust based on your performance in module one. So it is a multi-stage exam. It is going to be adaptive. It means that the questions will not be standardized for all takers. They will in fact be, tailored to your performance. So if, and what that means in a nutshell is that if you are facing too many easy questions, it should bother you. At the other end of the spectrum, if you're facing very hard questions, it should please you, right? Because what that means is that the test feels, the software feels, the AI feels that you're doing well and that your level is much more than the previous questions you answered. So it's asking you particularly hard questions, right? Well, moving on, what about the individual sections? The math and the reading and writing sections remain the same, but the only difference is that where there used to be two math sections, one calculator, one without calculator, and each of these had individual time allotted. Now there's going to be a single section, which is going to allow you the use of a calculator, and this single section needs to be attempted by you in about 70 minutes, right? So that gives you about a little less time than before, but significantly, fewer questions, and in all of it, you can take the help of your calculator, right? So it's a bit of good news, if not plenty to cheer. What about the English reading and writing section? Well, the pattern of questions remains largely the same. It's still going to be passage based, whether it's reading or writing, but the passages themselves are expected to be shorter than before, right? So it's going to be slightly easier to read and comprehend, and hence completing the exam would be easier. Although it's still going to be, there's still going to be a structure in place in terms of what kind of content will be presented to you, and what kind of questions will be asked of you. That remains more or less the same, but the major change is that the passages have become shorter, and hence again bodes well for you if you're a student, because it means that the test can be easier to complete than before, right? So those are the implications. Well, other aspects which I haven't touched upon, which I'll quickly sort of highlight, other features of the test include the fact that there are going to be online tools because it's a digital version of the pen. So when you're reading passages, or when you're answering the English section, then it becomes important to highlight certain areas, strike off, or underline certain portions of the text, and that those are tools that are available in the digital version of the SAT, as is a digital clock which will be present on the screen, on top of your screen. You can make it hide or show, and also there'll be an on-screen calculator which you can access obviously in the math section. And finally, because it's a digital version, unlike a pen and paper version where you could easily flip the paper, go back to a previous question, here going back to a previous question might involve too many clicks. So what they've done is that they've given you an option to flag questions, right? You can mark them for review, for later review, and so any questions that you feel you need to check, you need to calculate again, you need to revisit, well, you can flag them off separately and revisit them right at the end, right? So those are the changes. I think the fact that it's gone digital and the fact that these changes are quite student friendly means if you are an SAT aspirant, looking to apply to a bachelor's program abroad, I think you've got to have your thumbs up sign all the way, right? Okay, last couple of minutes, quickly going to tell you more about what we do. Well, our services are pretty comprehensive. We can help you prepare for the SAT, GRE, GMAT, as may be the case. We can also help you craft impactful applications, for your dream university abroad. We can also help you with other areas of selection, which includes, video assessments, resume building, or even a personal one-to-one interview. If it is in the digital mode, that too, right? So our mentors, our vast network of mentors, can help you with every aspect of your admission journey. I certainly hope that you're going to give me a shout. Click on the link in the description. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up sign. The link in the description will also allow you to write to me, contact me in case you have any specific queries you'd like me to address. And in case you'd like to reach out to a specific mentor from our platform, do click on the link in the description. Thank you. Have a great day, and do catch me in the next video on the SAT, where I'm going to talk about, some other aspects that, have changed and some of the aspects that remain unchanged in the SAT. And again, a whole lot of implications for a student. So do keep a lookout for my next video. Thank you. Have a nice day and wish you all the very best.